All right, guys, what we're going to be doing today for expository writing is we're going to be focusing on the introduction because you got to hook your reader um, into your writing. You want to make sure they buy into your reading. And most of you, when you think of the introduction, you think of starting off with a question or some type of onomatopoeia, but there are many other ways to hook the reader into your writing, and we're going to be going over those today and then choosing one of those ways to start off our writing. With that being said, let's get going. So, what I have here are examples of different types of hook examples that you can use in your writing. These hook examples are what's going to be the first sentence in your introduction paragraph. Allow me to say that to you again. This is the first sentence in your introduction paragraph. That means that your introduction should have more than just this hook. It should have all the elements that we would expect to see in an introduction, the thesis, and all of your topic sentences that you wrote about in your mighty middle. All of that needs to be included in your introduction along with this hook, which is going to be the first sentence in your introduction. Now, some of you automatically have been writing introductions already, which is wrong, and you have to rewrite them. But you've always been using a hook of some kind, usually a question. And what I want you to do, and what I expect you to do, is I expect you to choose a different type of hook that you've never used before. I want you to challenge yourself. When you challenge your comfort zone, you're going to become a better writer. It's also going to push your score higher because I know that you took a risk. If you want to get better, you have to try something different. And it may not be easy, but you should try something different. So what are the types of hook examples that you can use? I'm going to go through these very quickly, and I may highlight a couple that I think would be great to try in your writing, but I'm not going to go through each one in detail. You can use a question, which you're all very familiar with, and you can see an example underneath that. A riddle is something that I find pretty cool because it combines a question, but it goes a little bit deeper. You're including facts about that person or that thing you're writing about, and then you end it with a question. An exclamation is something that I've seen a lot of people use. I've seen people use onomatopoeias, but with this, you can see that it's an onomatopoeia, but it's also a personification combined with it. So you're stretching that onomatopoeia further. You're using the sound effect of the woo woo and swish, swish, swish. The Dark Knight provided protection. There's your personification. The Dark Knight is taking on human characteristics, and it's saying that for the slaves journeying north to freedom. That's one way that you can stretch your onomatopoeia. An alliteration using a tongue twister where the first three or more words in a row begin with the same letter. Brave, bold, bright. These are all qualities of an exceptional woman. An exaggeration, this is where you can add drama, and for you dramatic people, this is very cool. As the slave hunters drew near, Harriet's heart jumped out of her chest. You can also use a description, and this is when you add a lot of detail into your introduction to really make your writing come alive. And this could be a really good one for the body system, as you describe the body system or a part of the body system in detail. When Harriet crossed the line, making her a free person, she felt as if the sun came like gold through the tree over the field. She felt like she was in heaven. In here, they're using a lot of similes in the description to help the reader really understand how Harriet felt. So using similes and metaphors in a description is extremely important and will help your writing come alive. So you're going to choose one of these ways to start off your writing. And remember, challenge yourself and push yourself. It's my expectation that you're going to choose one that you've never used before. That's how you're going to get better. The next thing you're going to do is you are going to use this form to begin to write your hook for me. Remember, your hook is going to be the first sentence in your introduction paragraph. I know you're looking at this form and you're already seeing the ending. We are not working on the conclusion yet. That's going to come after the introduction. Today, we are only focused on the first part of this form, and that is the introduction. So, what is it that you have to include? Well, you're going to tell me the type of hook that you've used. If it's a description, you're going to write description. If it's a riddle, you're going to write riddle, whichever one it is. Then in here, you're going to write for me the hook itself. And that's where you're going to write it so I can see just what you did for your hook. You're going to submit that to the standard-based grading Dropbox. When you're done with that, then you're going to go ahead, you're going to take your hook, and you're going to add it into your writing that you did in Pages. You're going to make it your introduction, and that's going to be your first sentence. And then you're going to complete the rest of your introduction paragraph by including your thesis and your main topic sentences that you wrote about in the mighty middle. I'm going to show you an example of what I'm talking about on the next page using my example of Harriet Tubman. So here's my sample introduction that I wrote regarding Harriet Tubman, because once again, Harriet Tubman was a topic that I chose to write about in my expository essay. One thing I'd like to point out that my introduction includes, it includes the following. It includes the hook. I went through and I chose one of the examples on that sheet. It includes my thesis about Harriet Tubman. And then it also includes my main topic sentences. That's the first sentence that I wrote about in each one of my 3 paragraphs that made up my mighty middle. Let's go through and take a look at the introduction that I wrote regarding to Harriet Tubman. Brave, bold, bright. These are the qualities of an exceptional woman. So right here, this is my hook. And then I immediately go into my thesis. Because Harriet Tubman had a hard and brutal childhood, she was well prepared to overcome challenges in her life. So that's my thesis, my statement about Harriet Tubman that I wrote about. Remember, this is very similar to a literary essay that we wrote about. There are just a few different things that we do to make it an expository essay because we're writing information, but overall, the structure is the same as a literary essay. And then I went ahead and I included my main topic sentences from each one of my paragraphs. Harriet's life was full of accomplishments. That's what my first paragraph is going to be about. She overcame racism is my second paragraph. Is going to be all about how she overcame racism and provided a better life for thousands of enslaved people. And that is what my third paragraph is going to be fully about. So my introduction includes my hook, my thesis, and then my main topic sentences, which is going to explain to my reader what the rest of my paper is going to be about. And that's what your introduction must include, those 3 things. It's extremely important that your introduction has all those elements because that's what makes a really, really strong introduction. Once you're done writing your introduction, you are going to put it into your Pages and you are going to submit your writing of your introduction and your mighty middle all into standard-based grading Dropbox. So, for today as you're working, fill out that form. Yes, you still submit that to the standard-based grading Dropbox, telling me what hook you chose. You then write your introduction, you put it into your Pages above your mighty middle, and then when you're done with that, you submit that full piece of writing, your introduction and your mighty middle, all into the standard-based grading Dropbox. And that is writing for today. Next time we get together, we'll be tackling the conclusions. Good luck.